Alright, so I guess this will be part one of the rear axle build-up. So this is what I've done so far. This 8.8 had leaf spring. The leaf spring went under the axle instead of over like the XJ. So cut the perches basically off with a cutting wheel on a hand grinder. I cut most of the sway bar mount off for a couple of reasons. One, I want to use this as a ground for when I weld the new perches on and the truss that's going to go on this axle. That's pretty much it. A nice ground, and then I have this sort of there covered because I was grinding. But rear end's drained now. With the rear end, I'm pretty much, the internals of the rear end I'm pretty much doing nothing with other than rebuilding the limited slip that's in here and pulling the axle shafts to replace the seals. Well, it's not that one that's bad. There, you can see all that dirtiness. That's the one that's bad, but I'm going to replace them both. And I got one axle stud. They're busted. The brakes on the back, the rotors are pretty rusty, but the material's still there, so I might just keep using that for now. One thing I have to find is this short of stainless steel brake lines for these calipers when I put it back together. Because I want, everywhere that's rubber, I want it to be stainless steel brake lines. Stainless braided brake lines, you know what I mean. So I have a nice pedal feel. This axle is not terribly rusty, but just used a cutting wheel to mostly cut them off. And then once I was able to hammer them off, break the welds and hammer them off, which bit of a pain, but able to do it. Just use a regular grinding wheel and grinded down the welds. And then I gotta buy a kind of like a angle grinder wire wheel to wire wheel all the rust off and get it to be bare metal for when I weld this. So that's what I gotta do next. The parking brake on this axle I'm probably not gonna hook up right away because I gotta change the cables from the Jeep from being drums to this style. So I have to figure that out, how I'm going to do that. So it won't have a parking brake for a while. But with an automatic, I mean, how many people do you really know use parking brake in an automatic? I like it to have it. But anyway, got all the welds ground down. Now I just need a wire wheel. And then basically axle shaft seals, axle studs, and then the limited slip in the rear end I gotta rebuild. That'll be pretty much it. And probably upgrade the cover to an aluminum one or a steel one or something. Probably like a hardened steel one, so when I'm off-roading I don't puncture that stamped steel one. We'll see. But that's pretty much part one of the rear end build up. Build up, tear down, whatever you want to call it. Alright, see you next time.